You guys are always asking me for more family-friendly, all-inclusive resort reviews. So that's why I came back here to the Grand Fiesta Americana Coral Beach. It's located on one of the most beautiful beaches in Cancun here in the hotel zone, which is one of my favorite locations. But is this resort right for you and your family? Well, I'm going to give you all of the pros, all of the cons, so you can see if this resort is right for you. So let's get right into it. Now, first, I want to tell you why I went back to this resort to do a full, honest review for you guys. And that's because my travel agency partner, Travelingos, can offer you some amazing rates here. And I know what it's like to travel with family and how hard it can be to find a good deal. So I'm really excited to share all those details at the end of the video, but you can also find the links and information in the description below. But first, we need to know if this resort is right for you. So let's start with where it's located. So as I mentioned, this resort is located right in Cancun's hotel zone, which is a huge positive because it's only 20 to 25 minutes from the Cancun airport. And I also love this location because you do have the flexibility to go off the resort very easily if you wanted some more restaurants or nightlife or shopping nearby. One important note is that the resort does not provide transportation from the airport to the resort, so you'll need to set that up separately. Now, one perk of booking with Travelingos is that they will help you arrange all of that ahead of time. Now let's go to the check-in. Now, when I arrived, the staff was already waiting for me. They handed me a cool towel, took my bags right away, and walked me into the lobby. So it was definitely a great first impression. I had upgraded to the Infinite Club, which comes with a private check-in, and at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you whether or not I think it's actually worth it to upgrade. Now, if you don't upgrade, you're going to check in right in the main lobby, and it was pretty quiet when I arrived. It was a Wednesday afternoon, but I imagine during weekends or busy travel times, the lines could get pretty long, and that's honestly one of the reasons why I love upgrading. Having a private check-in, especially if you're traveling with kids after a long day, just makes things so much easier. The Infinite Club is located upstairs on level 11 with some insane views, and I think the entire check-in process took maybe around 15 to 20 minutes. The club is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, and they do have a separate bar with upgraded liquor, as well as small bites and appetizers. The Infinite Club includes actually quite a lot, and again, I'm going to talk about those at the end, but we'll also list them in the description and touch on some of the main perks throughout the video. The check-in staff went over what was included in my stay, pointed out the areas of the property that I had access to, and did share some helpful general information about the resort. And then the best part was my room was ready right away. So now let's go to the room. I made it. I am at Grand Fiesta Coral Beach. This is a family all-inclusive resort. I cannot wait to show you, but the room, this is why families are going to love this resort. So this is actually 2 rooms. I have a connecting room, 1008, 1007. The views are insane. I have to show you what this room is. Come on, let's go. Now, I'm going to do a full detailed room tour in a separate video because I don't want this one to get too long, but I was in the Infinite Oceanfront 2-bedroom master suite. And I know so many families are looking for something like this where you have 2 rooms that are actually connected with a ton of space for everyone. And this room category you can also get without the upgrade. Or if you're traveling as a couple or a smaller family, this is actually 2 separate room categories that you can book. So one is the 1-bedroom master suite and the other one is the ocean view suite with 2 queen beds. But I do want to highlight at least the bathroom in the 1-bedroom master suite because I think it's the biggest bathroom I've ever seen. Just so spacious and really, really beautiful. And then of course those views from the balcony. I mean, this is why you get the oceanfront suite. But look at this. You can actually see the fish swimming in the ocean. Look, from here, you can see it. That's how clear the blue water is. And you can just see Isla Mujeres. Look, all the way from here. Oh my God. I cannot wait to have coffee here in the morning. Now let's hit the pools. This resort has 4 outdoor pools and they're all either right next to each other or connected, which makes it really easy to get around, especially if you're traveling with kids. And one thing people are going to love is that these pools are heated most of the year, except during the summer when it's already so warm. Now there is a swim-up bar at the main pool and a ton of activities throughout the day for both adults and kids. And they list these on boards throughout the properties or have them on pieces of paper. There's also a website app, which I will link in the description. And even though there isn't an adults only pool, they do a great job of balancing it so there's something for everyone. In fact, I joined one of the water aerobic classes one day and it was really fun. Now, in terms of seating, there did seem to be plenty of lounge chairs around the pool area, especially since there are several pools that are all connected. But I didn't spend a ton of time there, so I can't really tell you whether people were getting up really early to save chairs, but overall it looked well spaced and easy to find a spot. Now, another thing I really loved is that the pools are located right next to the beach. So that is really convenient, especially if you are with little kids and you want to go back and forth between the pool and the ocean. And since we're talking about it, let's head to my favorite part about this resort, which was the beach. The resort is on one of the best beaches in Cancun, where the water is that beautiful turquoise blue, and it's so clear you can actually see the fish swimming around you. The ocean is also very calm, which makes it perfect for swimming or just relaxing in the water. And again, if you're traveling with kids, it is a huge plus. Now, I did see some people complain in the reviews that the beach area is small, but honestly, I thought it was plenty of space to walk up and down the shoreline, and they did have a ton of loungers. But I had upgraded to the Infinite Club, so I didn't have to worry about saving a seat or anything like that, because one of the big perks is that there is a designated beach section with really nice loungers and full beachside service. The resort also offers non-motorized water sports included for everyone in your stay. So depending on the conditions, you can go paddleboarding or kayaking. And then one of my favorite perks of the Infinite Club was getting a complimentary 30-minute jet ski session, which I definitely took advantage of. Now, the biggest question I always get about the Cancun beaches is about the sargassum. And unfortunately, this is something that all of Cancun and the Riviera Maya deal with now, and almost every resort can be affected at some point. Now, I was really lucky during my stay because there was absolutely none. And this resort, while it's known for getting less seaweed than many others, can still experience it during the summer months. So I always tell people, if you're looking for the clearest, calmest water possible, your best bet is to visit between late November and March. And of course, there's never a full guarantee. It's Mother Nature, but that's generally when the beaches tend to be the cleanest. Next, let's talk about my most asked question and something that really surprised me about this resort: the food and the drinks. And I'm going to be honest with you, my expectations were kind of low. Not for any particular reason, but just in general, at family all-inclusive resorts, it can be hard to find one that's on a beautiful beach and also has really good food. But I'm happy to report that the food here was way better than I expected. I was a little nervous at the beginning because my first meal was my least favorite, which was at Isla Cantoy, which is their seafood restaurant open for lunch right on the ocean. Now, I think it was just the dishes that I ordered because everyone was raving about this restaurant. And honestly, seafood is usually not my number one choice, but I did want to try it. But everything after that was honestly so much better. I would definitely rate it a solid 8 out of 10. They also have two other options for lunch. One is a buffet located inside, and the other you can order poolside or beachside, which I did both days because I loved everything I tried, which was pizza, wings, and salad, and it was all really, really good. But I especially loved how easy it was just to order right from my lounge chair, and I know how important that is when you are traveling with kids. No one wants to pack everyone up and have to go to a restaurant to go sit down and eat when they want to be at the pool and the beach for the day. Now, before I get into the dinner options, I want to mention that I was there in October. So this is during hurricane season, which means the occupancy is lower. And the upside is that you can get some amazing deals and the resorts feel less crowded. But the trade-off is that not every restaurant will be open every night since there just aren't as many guests. So there were actually more lunch and different dining options that I'm mentioning in this video, but you can see the full list on that website app that I talked about earlier. Here we go, night one at Grand Fiesta Americana. Now, the first night I went to Chianti, which is the Italian restaurant. And if you follow me, you know that Italian is usually my first night's choice. Now, most of the dinner restaurants are down on the lower level, and this is where you're going to see that they're really renovating and investing and updating the space. You might have seen some reviews mentioning that the resort is a little bit older, but they are clearly working on that, and Chianti is one of those really nice new restaurants. I loved everything I had. I had lasagna and pizza and salad, and everything was really, really good. And then on night two, I went to the Steakhouse. Now, I'm not a huge meat eater, but I heard so many great things about this restaurant, and I know it's usually the number one choice, so I had to put it to the test. You guys never see me eat steak. Very, very, very rarely do I eat steak. I know it's amazing here, so let's see. Now let's talk about breakfast options. I know I'm doing this a little bit out of order, but one morning I did the main breakfast buffet and it is truly massive. They have everything and anything your family could want, even for picky eaters. They had made to order eggs, omelets, pastries, cereals, hot dishes, pancakes, waffles, you name it. Your kids will absolutely love it. And I never had any issues with lines or getting a table, which I know sometimes can happen at other family resorts. Now, one morning for breakfast, I did room service, and I definitely recommend taking advantage of this because it's all included for everyone, whether you upgrade or not, 24/7. And I know how much my kids loved having this option. I was also impressed that it only took around 35 to 40 minutes. Of course, wait times can always depend on how busy the resort is, but I just couldn't resist enjoying breakfast with those amazing views from my room. And the food was really, really good. So this is a great option if you're visiting as a couple or as a family, you just want a slower, more relaxed morning. I cannot forget to mention the Coral Cafe. It is located in the main lobby. It is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is where you're going to get your coffee and pastries. They also have grab and go items and then ice cream and also candies for the kids. Now let's talk about the bars and cocktails. And even though this is a family-centered resort, you still find bars almost everywhere you turn. Now, since I had upgraded to the Infinite Club, I had access to premium liquors at all of the bars. So you wear a separate bracelet and the bartenders know exactly which liquors you can choose from. They're actually kept on a different shelf. Now, all of the bartenders are incredibly knowledgeable here, and you can tell many of them have been here for years, and the drinks were consistently amazing. My favorite spot was actually the Infinite Club bar upstairs because they had the fresh juices and you never had to wait for a drink, but it was really quiet. So usually I would just grab a drink and take it to my room or then head downstairs. This is actually a perfect time to talk about the service because honestly, it was exceptional across the board. From the bartenders to the restaurant staff to housekeeping, everyone went above and beyond. And just like the bartenders, you can tell that many of the employees have been here for years. In fact, anytime I had a question about where something was, they didn't just point, they actually walked with me to show me exactly where it was. Okay, almost done. If you follow me, you know I give very detailed reviews. So finally, let's talk about the activities because I know how important this is, especially when you're traveling with kids. And this resort is completely centered around making sure families have plenty to do and that your kids stay active and entertained the entire time. Now, the Kids Club is definitely one of the biggest draws here. It's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with different hours reserved for different activities. So for instance, from 10 to 1, it's family time. Then after that, they have drop-off hours for ages 3 and up, as long as they're potty trained. And they also have organized activities going all day long. So if your kid didn't want to sit in the kids club, they still have something to do for everyone. And it's a great range from sports to games to arts and crafts. And all of that is listed again on that app, or they give out the sheets daily. Now, even though this is a family-centered resort, there are plenty of activities for adults as well. I know I saw a lot of families, multi-generational, and this is perfect because they have things like water aerobics, volleyball, soccer, and of course, since the beach is a huge draw here, people love that you can snorkel right off the shore. The water is calm and clear, and it's also perfect for non-motorized water sports like kayaks and paddleboards that are all included in the stay. And they also have a lot of evening entertainment. So one night they had a magic show upstairs in the ballroom, and then the next night they had a water show by the pool, and then they even had karaoke every single night, which you know I love, which was located in the Teens Club. So yes, they do have a designated Teens Club, which is right there in the main lobby. And I was surprised that they had a nightclub, especially since it was a family resort. They take a restaurant, they turn it into a club with a DJ. Now, there weren't a ton of people there, probably because it's mostly a family resort, but at least they have the option. Finally, they have an amazing full-service spa and fitness center that I want to show you really quickly. Now, I didn't do any specific spa treatments, but hydrotherapy is included with the Infinite Club, so I definitely took advantage of that. And it was very beautiful and relaxing. And I like that at the end, both men and women can come together in the shared area. So it is perfect if you want to experience it as a couple. Now, the fitness center was also really impressive. So if you're someone who likes to stay active on vacation, you're definitely going to love it. Now, of course, I'm going to give you some of my final honest thoughts on the Grand Fiesta Americana Coral Beach and who I think this resort is ideal for. But first, I want to tell you about the special rates that my followers can get with Travelingos, my travel agency partner. So at the top of the description, there's a special link. Just click on that. That will indicate that you're one of my followers, and someone from Travelingos will reach out and give you a free quote with the special rates already applied. So the beach is a standout feature here. So if you are a beach lover like myself, this resort is going to be ideal. Just remember, if you want the best conditions, to book it within, I would say, December through like April. Again, there's never a guarantee that there's not going to be seaweed, but usually those are the best times. And if your kids love activities and being entertained all day, plus the option of a kids club, then you should definitely consider this resort. And I already raved about the service and how impressed I was with the food. Now, the location in the hotel zone, I think, is a pro. I personally love it. It's so close to the airport, and of course, you have access to that beautiful beach. But it's not for everyone. So if you do not like resorts in busy areas, then it might not be for you. If you're a family looking for a bigger resort with more bells and whistles like the water parks and the bowling alleys, then obviously this might not be the resort for you. But I will tell you, as a mom who has traveled with kids to big resorts like the Moon Palace, I actually wish I had gone to more smaller resorts like this one, because one, it's easier to navigate. And at the end of the day, usually the kids just want to be at the pool and the beach and have some activities. And it really forces you to have more together family time. And yes, this is not a new resort, but you can see all the efforts that they are making to upgrade and renovate this resort. In fact, I noticed it the minute I walked into the lobby. I could see how they redid the entire lobby. It was so much more brighter and refreshed. They are redoing the entire kids club, and just all of the renovations they are making to the restaurants. It's noticeable, and it really does make a big difference. Now, for adults or couples considering this resort for a vacation, it might not be the most ideal because they don't have a ton of adults only areas or experiences yet. Supposedly, word on the street is that it's coming. Still, I saw a ton of couples there, and they were loving it. So this leads me into the Infinite Club and whether or not I think it's worth upgrading. Because if you're coming here as a couple or for an adult's vacation, then definitely upgrade to the Infinite Club. I just feel like it elevates your entire experience. And not to say that families shouldn't upgrade as well. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But for couples especially, you get access to that lounge upstairs on the 11th floor with insane views. In fact, on many mornings, I saw couples just having breakfast there or coffee, enjoying the views, and it's very quiet. So even though it's open to families, kids never go there because there's nothing for them to do. And they have the special bar with upgraded liquors. And then you get the premium liquor throughout the resort as well because you'll have the special black band. But even more than that, they have really amazing perks that I haven't seen at other resorts. So 40% off all spa treatments during your entire stay. And then of course the free hydrotherapy. And then you also get a complimentary dinner at the French restaurant, which is usually an extra charge. And of course the free 30-minute jet ski, and then access to the special area on the beach, which they do have an adults only area there. And I'm going to put in the description the list of everything that the Infinite Club includes, because it is quite a lot, more than I have seen at other resorts, like I mentioned. Now for families, I always say an upgrade is definitely worth it, but I know not everyone can afford it. So you're still gonna have an amazing vacation here if you don't upgrade. So I noticed at this resort, you really can't tell who is upgraded and who's not. It's not one of those resorts where you feel left out, but the upgrade does add a lot, and you'll see in that list that you do get so much. And I definitely think it's worth considering, even just with that premium oceanfront room alone to have all of that space. And of course, if you have any other questions about this resort, or maybe you've been to this resort and you want to share your experiences, please drop those in the comment section below. I do try to respond to all comments and questions. And I hope you found this honest review of the Grand Fiesta Americana Coral Beach helpful. And if you did, please like and subscribe, and keep following me at 3 Days and Tres Noches, where I bring you honest resort reviews, travel tips, and information about the destinations that I go to, and show you can have an amazing vacation in a really short amount of time. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram.